Yeah, hi guys. I'm at home in my Vancouver home. This is where I've been during this whole quarantine time, and I just finished a home workout, and that's about it. That's what I do, and uh, other than that, I obviously hang out a lot with my family.
Uh, okay, thank you, Alex. The first question is going to Brendan Batchelor.
Hey, Alex, just wondering,
Hi.
what the home workouts look like for you, and whether it's been a little bit more challenging to stay in shape because of the fact that you're limited to being at home.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. We got some program that we've been getting from the team that you can do, and I tried to kind of set up a little home gym here. I think the hard part is to have heavier weights. It's kind of hard at home, but it's easy to do at least cardio, and yeah, I think it's been going pretty well.
And in light of that, what do you think some of the biggest challenges will be if and when you're getting ready to come back and play, in terms of getting back up to speed? Obviously, you've been off the ice, and you talk about the heavy weights as well.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that the guys haven't been skating, right? So I think I feel like a lot of guys throughout the summer skates doesn't take a break from skating. They skate a little bit whole summer, so not being able to skate, I think, is the biggest challenge. If we're gonna come back here.
Thank you.
Ian McIntyre is up next.
Hey, Alex, thank you for doing this.
No problem.
Are you watching any of the old games that are being shown on TV? The 2011 Chicago series is on right now. Have you been watching it?
I actually, this was a couple weeks ago. I watched the game 7 of that series, and then I've seen a little bit, but not much. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to see that game. You have all the memories from it, and there was a lot of things that I didn't remember, but then I saw it. It kind of came back, so it was pretty cool to watch it again.
Do you remember Kevin Bieksa losing his mind in the dressing room in Game 5 in the first intermission?
Not really. He
Okay.
did that all the time, so no. No, I don't really.
Okay. Well, that series, it had such a dramatic shift. You guys were up 3-0, and then it went to 3-3. And I know Dave Ballin came back for them, but he wasn't the Hart Trophy winner that year. Why did the series have such a dramatic momentum swing, do you think?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think we were, we were seeded number 1, and they kind of snuck in number 8. But you knew what they've done the previous years, especially against us. So I think we were ready for it, and we went up 3-0, and I don't know if we maybe thought that we're gonna win this. But then it's that the fourth win, that's we always say that's the hardest one, and they kind of came back and showed how good they are, how good they were in the playoff in those kind of important games, and they obviously won. I think they won it was 4 and 5. There was one game that they won pretty easy, I think.
Yeah, 4 and 5,
and,
both blowouts.
Yeah, and then it was then I think it was an OT win, Game 6, and yeah, and then all of a sudden it's Game 7.
Thanks, Eddie.
David Quadrelli has got the next question for you.
Alex, you've been on playoff runs before, and you've played games beyond Game 82. How important do you think it is for the young guys on your team to get that experience?
Yeah, very important. I think for our team with a lot of young guys that and we haven't been in the playoff in a while, even these games down the stretch, when the games gets tighter and everyone's kind of stepping up a little bit, I think those games are really important for your to gain experience and things like that. So to be able to play in those hard games and get a feel of how much more intense it is out there. I think that's really good for all of our young guys.
Next question, it's Ben Kuzma.
Good morning, Alex. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. What do you make of your season, Alex? I mean, you're playing a couple less minutes than the previous season. I know a lot of that has to do with what's happening on PP1, but you're right there in terms of your point production compared to last year. You're right there in block shots in the league at number 3, and I think you've got about 26 even strength points this year. You had the one injury, you missed 10 games. What did you make of your season, Alex, so far? And if it's to resume, what do you make of it to this point?
I think I've had a good season so far. I had that injury, which seems to always happen at some point. But I think, I played pretty good hockey. Early on, I played a lot, and my ice time went down a little bit, but not too much. And I think that has to do with our D-core has been better than previous years. With Myers coming in, and then obviously Quinn coming in. So I think it's been a better balance there, and we've been more successful as a team. So I think it's been a good year so far, and I'm pretty happy with my game.
It's interesting too, Alex, that the original self-isolation edict was supposed to expire March 27th, and you guys were supposed to go to a training or go back to the facilities, and then by April 27th, which would have been this week, you would have been at a training camp. And we're expected to hear today that the self-isolation quarantine edict is going to be extended another 2 weeks to May 15th. As a 34-year-old player in this league, is there a silver lining with more time off, or is it kind of driving you a little bit nuts?
Well, I think I think this time is hard for everyone in different ways, and going through this, I think there's everything is bigger than hockey, right? So as much as I want to be back and play and fight for a playoff spot and be in the playoffs, right now we're just trying to get through this time, everyone together, helping each other, and if we can start to open things up, and then if players can get back to the facility and train, that would be great. But there's more important things right now that I think everyone's thinking about.
One more from me, Alex. How did you deal with this on a kind of a daily basis? Because now we're hearing that the June draft may not even happen. That we all thought that maybe at some point you guys might start playing in July and August, and that could be pushed back to the fall. And even next year, that season could be delayed too. How do you process all that, and how do you stay busy on a daily basis outside of your workouts? I mean, what are you doing to kind of stay sane?
Yeah, no, I think that's the hard part, the uncertainty of knowing when this is going to end, when you're going to be able to go back to somewhat normal life. I think for myself, I'm trying to, obviously I have 2 kids, so it's pretty busy still. I spend a lot of time with them, trying to activate them around the house, and try to get outside a little bit, but still keeping that the social distance. So I try to work out every day, and then I'll do some schoolwork with my oldest daughter, which is kind of fun at sometimes, and a little frustrating at sometimes. I'm sure it's the same for her, but it's just kind of new things that you have to do, I think the great part is that you get to spend so much time with your family.
We're going to go back to Ian McIntyre with the next question, Alex.
Alex, how do you feel just generally about the idea of the National Hockey League maybe resuming in the middle of summer? And are you worried at all about player safety? Because there's obviously a determination for a lot of reasons, including financial, to try to get some kind of season in. Are you concerned that maybe it won't be 100% safe for players when they decide to do that, if they decide to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to say because there's so many factors that goes into this to try to return to the game, and it's like this is something that we've never been through before. And, you know, potentially playing in July and August. I don't know. It's so different. So I don't really know what it would be like, and I think you know, I think there has to be there's so many factors, so I don't really know what to think of it until, you know, we're getting closer to, you know, an option that it might happen. So I don't really have a good answer. There seems like there's a million different things you have to take in consideration.
Thanks.
Josh Clipperton has the next question for Alex.
Hey, Alex, thanks for doing this. We were talking to Phil Deneau yesterday with Montreal, and he has a young family like yourself, and he was talking about how he wouldn't be willing to be away for 2, 3, 4 months in quarantine. Where do you fall on that, and how tough is that for guys with families? I mean, younger guys might be okay with it, but older guys might not be. Yeah.
So again, like I don't really know what the setup would be if we return, if that's the case, that you have to be away from your family for that long. And I don't think anyone with family would be very happy about that or okay with that. But again, like I don't know what the setup would be or if there's solutions for that. You know, that's hard to say.
Thanks.
Jeff Patterson has the next question.
Hey, Alex, you were there in 2011 along with so many other great players. And I think one of the disappointments for the city was that the Sedins never got another playoff run, right? Like you guys got to the playoffs in 2015, but bounced in that first round. And we all know what these last few years have been like. With this young group that looks like it's turned a corner, how much would it mean to you to kind of get another opportunity to, you know, take a real run in the playoffs?
Yeah, a lot for sure. I mean, that's why you play. That's why I play, and that's why, you know, I always wanted to be here because, you know, there's been a lot of potential, but we've had some disappointing years, but we've been going through a change. So, you know, I think, you know, we've been taking some steps the last few years, and this year, I think we've shown that we're a pretty good team, and that we're heading in the right direction. And, you know, I want to be part of, like I would love to get another shot at doing something in the playoff. And, you know, I know we, as a team, as an organization, you know, that's where we want to be, and not just 1 year, but, you know, you want to create a window of, you know, being good for many years, and you know, playing playoff hockey for many years.
You were asked about it a little bit earlier, just the importance for some of those young guys to get an opportunity, knowing what you know now, having been to a Stanley Cup final and playing other high-level hockey. What can you gain? I mean, you could tell these guys all about playoff hockey, but what ultimately can they gain, or what do they have to gain by going through it themselves?
I think a big thing is all the emotions that you go through. You know, you kind of think back of you know, especially the run we had to the final of, you know, at the time your body might have been so tired and mentally you might have been tired. So but you go through that and you know, try to keep, you know, keep your emotion in check, and, you know, stay even keel, and, you know, not get too high or too low. You know, there's so many changes through a playoff series. You know, the one you might feel great, and then you might feel really bad, and it's just those things are so such a good learning experience to go through in every series.
Great, thanks.
I'm going to go back to David Quadrelli.
Alex, I think it's quickly becoming tradition on these calls that we've asked all your other teammates who they'd most and least like to be quarantined with from the team. So just wondering your answer on that.
I would probably be with one of the Swedes for sure. Marky or Louis or Oscar or Elias. I think the Swedes always have a good connection, so probably one of them, or all of us would be the best.
And least?
I don't know, but at least I don't know. I don't have a good answer there.
Fair enough.
I'm going to open up the phone lines one last time, Alex, for final chance at questions. Does anyone else have anything for Alex before we wrap up the call? Kevin Woodley. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hey, Alex, just you mentioned skating and talked to a number of sort of private coaches that work with NHL players about losing that skating time that you would normally have in the summer, even if it was informal. Have you looked at any slide boards, rollerblades? Have you thought of any or tried anything to try and get that motion, those mechanics as part of your exercises during this time?
No, I have not. I mean, throughout my whole career, I have always taken a break from skating in the summer. And a lot of it early in my career, because I never had ice back home in Sweden, so it was never an option. But I kind of like doing that and just work on the dry land part of it. I have not done anything that's similar to skating. But if you compare this to a summer, then this is what I usually do. And then I start skating in late July or something like that.
So do you look at, obviously we have no timelines, but like you said, most guys do at least start informally skating in August or late July. Do you look for options, or if it's straight to a training camp, what effect do you think that would have, and how long do you think it would take to be comfortable?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really have a good answer, because it's like the situation, it's just so different, and it would be so unique to, come back from not being on the ice for, I don't know, a couple of months to training camp and getting ready for very important games. So I don't really know what that would be like. It'd probably be a challenge, but it'd be the same for everyone, I guess.